going live. Let's see if we're coming live too. Are we doing it?
So I'm on camera.
Live. I'm live.
Can you see me? Oh wait.
No. Yeah. I got it.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up.
Yes. Hey. Not only us, but we have an assistant as well. Hello, everybody. Good night. Boa noite.
Oi.
Oi, Rafa. Boa noite.
Ah, oi.
Você entrou no lugar do Wellington, tá? Então você põe o nariz de palhaço, porque o Wellington, não sei se teve que sair. E deu certo. Muito obrigada. Se você quiser continuar aí, você pode ser assistente da nossa assistente quântica. Well, my darling, eu acho que você teve que sair, mas a gente finalmente conseguiu. Eu estou ao vivo com a Michele, a Rafaela entrou no seu lugar para a gente testar. E eu mandei um convite lá para você no seu negócio. Se você entrar e aceitar, você entra, convite e tudo. Se não der, a gente reagenda. Antecipadamente, muito obrigada, nos desculpe, porque a equipe se atrapalhou com máquinas e escritórios. Now we're live. Se der jeito, entra aí. Beijo. Michele Atlas.
Hello.
How are you there?
I'm good. I'm good.
Be very welcome to Brazil. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
You're very, very welcome.
Seja muito bem-vindo ao Brasil. Muito obrigada por estar conosco hoje à noite. A Michele Atlas é uma coach especializada, altamente certificada na psicologia do dinheiro. Então, a gente vai conversando, eu vou fazendo perguntas, nós vamos contar desse encontro no Brasil, do Resiliency Summit Quantum House, para falar de resiliência, de um mapa completo de resiliência, para a gente ter o molejo, os recursos mais poderosos que há para nós lidarmos com a vida, construirmos nossa carreira, nossa capacidade de fazer um bom dinheiro, que é o assunto da Michele, e também a nossa resiliência de lidar com o nosso, pisar nosso chão, não nos intimidar, né? Os invalidadores não gostam que a gente não se intimide, quando a gente pisa nosso chão parece que piora os castigos, né? Quando da oposição, meu pai que falava, intriga da oposição. Mas então, esse é o Resiliency Summit, e a Michele é uma dos 16 convidados, que eu tenho muita honra e muito orgulho. Ela faz parte do AI Siebert Resiliency Center. O AI Siebert foi meu grande mestre, o evento faz um tributo a ele, e ela lá de Nova York trabalha conosco, por Portland, Oregon, e aqui por São Paulo, Brasil, e Nova Orleans, as Quantum House. Michele, I'm just saying to the people that Quantum House Resiliency Summit is a one-of-a-kind meeting of important people, and that our main goal is to build a personal map of resiliency, that people go out with their complete resiliency map for their career and good making money, and for their affective life and their relationships, whereby they feel connected and step in their ground, so that you can step light on your feet and look forward. So I was telling a little bit about you on the psychology of money and our relationships regarding all Siebert and the Resiliency Center in Portland, Oregon, our colleagues that are coming from there, yes, and you coming from New York. Yes. So let's do like that. You speak in English, and I'll put it in Portuguese. So, okay. How are you feeling of coming to Brazil? What are you bringing to us? I'm crazy to learn about the psychology of money.
You probably already know something about it, so I'm extremely excited, of course, to be coming to Brazil. You know, and it's a really very special opportunity, and I've never been. You know, just thrilled to be coming, and look so forward to meeting the people that are going to come to this conference to learn this kind of stuff, because it's my passion. So let's see what I can tell you about the psychology of money without telling you everything, right? So, yeah.
A Michele diz que está muito entusiasmada com vir para o Brasil, que ela acha que eu já sei umas coisas sobre a psicologia do dinheiro, mas que ela quer contar iniciar contando alguma coisa, sem contar tudo, mas iniciar contando alguma coisa do que ela acha importante. So, what is most important about starting to think about the psychology of money in terms of resiliency, dear?
Yeah, absolutely, right. So, so there are several key things, and so first of all, most of the time, when people are not satisfied with their money results, they look to practical strategies and practical tips exclusively. And the problem with that is that usually the practical tips alone are not sustainable.
Ela diz que é a primeira vez que ela vem ao Brasil, ela disse há pouco, então que isso está sendo muito excitante, muito entusiasmante. E aí começa a falar da psicologia do dinheiro, que as pessoas costumam buscar dicas e passos para lidar com o dinheiro, que são importantes, mas que em geral isso não é sustentável, não basta.
And the reason that they're not sustainable is because typically they're kind of a one-size-fits-all type kind of strategies, and also usually
one-size-fits-all,
meaning the same strategy is recommended for everybody. It's not
tamanho único, né? A razão pela qual não funciona essa estratégia é que, em geral, essas dicas, esses passos que se faz para lidar com o dinheiro são aquela coisa tipo roupa de tamanho único, né? Uma estratégia só para todo mundo.
Yeah, and also typically when we focus exclusively on practical strategies, there are also a lot of shoulds and a lot of shouldn'ts. And so
quando a gente está olhando para estratégias práticas, ela diz que tem um monte de deverias e não deverias.
Yeah, and so those shoulds and shouldn'ts don't always fit for everybody. And so what happens is the attempt to empower your relationship to money with only practical tips and strategies is a little bit like a yo-yo diet, going up and down. It's like we make some progress and then we go backwards. And, ultimately we end up...
Essa coisa de lidar com o dinheiro, com esse tipo de estratégia, de dicas, e dessa maneira acaba ficando como uma espécie de estratégia de ioiô, que nem dieta, né? Você faz o negócio dar certo, depois para dar errado, faz dar certo, para dar errado.
Yeah. And so there's another dimension to our relationship to money that is extremely powerful, and we're going to be talking about that, and that's our emotional relationship to money.
Então tem uma outra dimensão do nosso relacionamento com o dinheiro, sobre a qual a gente vai conversar, que é a nossa relação emocional para com o dinheiro.
Yeah. And our emotional relationship to money begins when we're very, very, very young, so
Really?
Yes. Because
a nossa relação emocional com o dinheiro começa quando a gente é muito, muito jovem, muito pequenininho.
Because it's like everything else, we receive a tremendous amount of conditioning, a lot of messaging, a lot of programming, indirectly and directly about money.
Como a maior parte das coisas a nosso próprio respeito, a gente recebe uma carga grande de condicionamento, não é? Condicionamento sobre o que sim e o que não, e isso também vai com relação ao dinheiro.
Yeah. And later in life, what happens is we feel like we're doing all the right things and we're working hard and we're listening to all the best advice and getting mentoring and trying strategies, but we still get we keep getting the same results that are not satisfying. And that's because there are a lot of what we call emotional drivers and triggers that we can't see, kind of operating from behind the scenes.
Tem gatilhos operacionais e emocionais em nós que meio que funcionam por detrás, que acabam fazendo com que uma série de buscas, estudos, mentorias, coaches, um monte de coisa que a gente fez na vida não funciona, porque essa coisa que vem e funciona de trás meio que rege a gente de como é que a gente vai lidar com aceitar a prosperidade. Could I say accept prosperity the way we will accept money, or deal with accept prosperity as well, with this the way we deal with money and accept prosperity? Could I say that?
Yeah, it's like our relationship to money. It's a relationship like any other relationship. And so just like any other relationship, depending upon our conscious and unconscious beliefs and attitudes, we are more or less successful.
So, as nossas atitudes, né? Essa coisa como tudo, o que tem consciente, o que tem inconsciente em nós vai fazer a gente ser mais ou menos bem-sucedido. Can you give me an example, like what would make an unconscious programming from childhood
Sure.
would help me deal with money in a way that makes me more successful? Eu pergunto para ela o que me faria ter programinha de infância que me faria ter mais sucesso com dinheiro.
Yeah. So typically, so most of us receive a combination of, positive conditioning and negative conditioning. It's not all negative, it's not all positive. So depending upon our family culture, it's like our circle of influence. So our parents, our faith communities, our schools, our relatives, we're getting messages from all of these close places. And so, for example, I know in the U.S.
A gente tem condicionamentos que não são só negativos, a gente tem condicionamentos negativos e positivos dos pais, dos professores, da comunidade, da vida, né?
Yeah, and so, in the U.S., for example, we, there are certain common messages. Maybe some of them you can relate to. Maybe you have other common messages. For example, let's see. So, for example, one of the really old kind of messages was, money is the root of all evil, for example.
Aí ela fala de algumas mensagens padrão que tem lá na cultura americana.
Or, for
a gente
example,
vai perceber que aqui também combina, pode ou não combinar, mas no caso daquela trouxe agora, acho que sim, money is the root of all evil. O dinheiro é a raiz de todo mal.
Or, for example, if you heard when you were young, all rich people are greedy, or all poor people are lazy.
Se você escutar quando você é criança, todas as pessoas ricas são greedy. How to say this in Portuguese, for Christ's sake? Espero que eu não estou lendo o chat de vocês.
Yeah.
Todas as pessoas ricas são avarentas. Ou todas as pessoas pobres são preguiçosas. This kind of thing. We have one here that we say that money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, we have that too. We have that too. Okay, so let's use that one if that's something that everybody can relate to. So that's very common here as well. So
é comum lá, dinheiro não dá em árvore.
Right.
So
when we hear that all the time, so depending on our personality, we assign different meanings to these messages. It's it's a little bit complex, but for example, that message, many people grow up feeling like that means that in order to be prosperous, I'm going to have to work extremely hard all the time. And I'm never going to be able to stop working. I'm going to kind of have to just work super, super hard because it doesn't grow on trees. And if I don't, constantly work and exhaust myself, then I probably won't make any money, right? So what happens, right?
Então,
so you get
ela diz que, nesse caso, se você cresce ouvindo que dinheiro não cresce em árvore, você vai ter que trabalhar super hard, super forte, porque aquilo é padrão de estímulo inconsciente de como é que o dinheiro acontece. Na sua crença.
Right, and so then so we grow up with this belief. It might not be conscious. You might not think that you agree with this belief, but you've heard it, for years and years when you were young, and it exists someplace internally.
Acreditando ou não nesses padrões, são coisas que a gente escuta tanto que acaba internalizando, e a maneira como a gente lida com o dinheiro, permite seu dinheiro, tem relação direta com essa crença, né? Can I say that money has to do with affection, like our affections, because
absolutely, that's excellent. Absolutely. Maybe you mean, so it could mean many different things like that. So one thing that I've noticed is, well, first of all, the way we do money has everything to do with what we value and invest in, what we believe is possible even for ourselves, what we believe we deserve, what we believe we have permission for.
Ooh.
Big, hot words.
Then comes resilience in the show, Eu perguntei para ela se tem a ver com afeto, né? O tipo de relação de afeto, tem uma ideia de que dinheiro simboliza afeto, que eu dou, que eu recebo. Ela disse, muito bom, exatamente, isso é muito bom de se pensar, porque tem a ver com o que eu penso que eu gosto, o que eu mereço, o que eu penso que eu dou conta de receber, que eu mereço receber. Isso tem muito a ver com a forma de troca na infância e com a forma de que eu sinto que mereço receber. Eu digo, bom, a resiliência entra nisso de uma forma boa, né? Porque aquilo de estar à vontade na própria pele faz eu dar conta de receber. Muitos de vocês que fazem curso de resiliência, que vêm para o Resiliency Summit, nesse grande encontro, vêm para fazer esse mapa pessoal em que o seu estado de merecimento entra numa permissão, né? Uma permissão e uma autorização que é importante, a gente consegue se dar. Muita gente fez meus cursos e não conseguia pôr preço no trabalho. Eu lembro muito de uma amada do Rio de Janeiro, e ela disse, nossa, Cláudia, eu conheci a pessoa que não custa tanto. Você não conseguia botar preço, foi uma vergonha, né? I'm just remembering then for this example of yours.
What's that?
One of our students from self-love online courses or something, she had a very hard time to put a value on the work she sells.
Yes.
So she's a kind of an artist, and with little gardens and stuff. And after some of this working you were mentioning that we need to do, like feeling good in your own skin and feeling that you deserve, reprogramming this a little bit, she was shocked because she went, Clau, I'm just able to charge, and I don't know where this came from. I wasn't able to charge, and I didn't see it coming. I just say it costs X and Y and Z, and it came from So I was giving this example that the person conseguiu cobrar e ela falou, não vi isso vindo, eu não sei de onde veio. Eu falei, custa tanto, acabou, eu não consegui fazer antes e agora eu consigo. What I couldn't do before, now it came to me because of this. So I'm giving the example that this belief you are saying maybe was stopping her from doing it.
Yes. So I see this all the time with my clients, all the time. It's extremely common, especially with female entrepreneurs. So some men as well, but especially with female entrepreneurs, there's a lot of issues with permission and is it okay to charge what I'm worth, and a disconnect from what I'm worth. And if I'm a good person, I give away my services and I don't, receiving money isn't nice. There's a lot of these kind of beliefs that my clients come into my world with, that we're always working with,
Ela dá exemplos disso, né? Muitos clientes que têm essas crenças, esse tipo de impedimento que a pessoa nem percebe, que vem assim, receber dinheiro não é legal, eu falar quanto custa não é educado, né? Questões que passam por aí pelo um comportamental que a pessoa não teve essa educação objetiva das tais das dicas, mas também emocional, né?
Yeah. And of course, I don't understand one word that you're saying, but I feel like it must be what I'm talking about.
I promise you have to believe me. I'm translating you.
I do believe you. I do.
Some of them that must be here in our views, patiently waiting for us to make this thing work, speak English and Portuguese, so they can tell. They can tell.
Okay, good. Good. So. Yeah, and so with the other connection, so that's a very common issue. And so the other common issue that I've discovered through working with women and couples is because a lot of the time my female clients want to bring their husbands or their partners into this part of the conversation. And so what happens is that it's very fascinating because the way we do money is the way we do love as well.
Wow.
They're inextricable. They're identical. So,
o jeito que a gente faz dinheiro é o jeito que a gente ama. É o jeito que a gente lida com o amor. Ou seja, o jeito que a gente lida com o dinheiro vai ser o mesmo jeito com o qual a gente lida com o amor.
Yeah, so I have all kinds of stories, couple stories, some good ones, and I'm going to save some of them for when I'm with you. But the only way, what happens for people, whatever kind of conditioning they got becomes a story, right? And we live in this story, whether we know it or not. And the way that we break through, the way that we empower our relationship to money, the only way that we really transform it is by shining a light into those dark corners, so that we kind of turn the lights on. Right?
Ela conta que tem muitas histórias desse tipo, de como as pessoas lidam com dinheiro e como as pessoas lidam com amor, que são muito interessantes, porque você só consegue perceber isso e administrar isso de uma maneira mais produtiva quando a gente põe um pouco de luz nessas esquinas, né? Shine light on those corners, a gente põe uma luz naquelas esquinas, onde a gente vai falar, puxa, olha mesmo, né? Can you give me an example, just one example? You don't have to tell the story, keep it for our meeting. Eu pedindo um exemplo, ela está prometendo que vai contar essas histórias no nosso encontro, no Quantum House Resiliency Summit, 8 a 11 de novembro, na Casa Petra, aqui em São Paulo. A Michele Atlas, que vem de Nova York, mas pelo menos um exemplo, que ela dá um exemplo para a gente começar a pensar no tema.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely can give you an example. I'm thinking of several. Let me just think of a good one here that I can share that maybe I wasn't even going to share it in the summit. So, I'll give you two different examples.
Dois exemplos, ela vai dar, dois exemplos.
Yeah, so one of my clients, for example, because it's not always about not having enough money. So some people have plenty of money, a lot of money, and they still don't have an empowered relationship to it. And so, for example, I had one client who had a very lucrative career, and she had plenty of money. Money was not an issue, but her relationship to it was an issue. She felt that because she had a little bit more money than some of her family members, she was paying for everything for everybody. And even though they all had jobs and they were all educated, they were all very capable of taking care of themselves, she had this sort of belief that, it was the right thing to do because she made a little bit more money, that she should be paying for. And so while she was...
Ela está dizendo que quando a gente não tem dinheiro suficiente é uma coisa, mas muitas vezes as pessoas têm dinheiro suficiente e não lidam bem com isso, não gerenciam bem isso na própria vida. Então ela está lembrando de uma cliente que, porque ganhou, estabeleceu, conseguiu uma certa prosperidade, ela se sentiu meio na obrigação de pagar tudo para todo mundo na família, sabe? Então, ela pagava muitas contas, pagava tudo para todo mundo, e isso, porque como se ela tivesse uma cobrança interna de como é que ela pode, mesmo que as pessoas tivessem um emprego, tivessem condição de pagar suas contas e tudo mais na família, ela tinha uma necessidade de meio que justificar aquela situação que ela conseguiu.
So, I had to help her understand that, empowering other people with money when they were adults and they were capable of taking care of themselves was actually disempowering. And
eu tive que ajudá-la a perceber que empoderar é uma palavra horrorosa, né? Tradução do empowering, mas que energizar as pessoas ou habilitar as pessoas através do dinheiro, quando elas têm condição de fazer dinheiro por si mesmas, na verdade, é desabilitá-las e não habilitá-las. Né? Parece que a gente está dando poder e habilitando, mas a gente está desabilitando e desempoderando.
And so while she was in this position of, giving all this money that, to people who had plenty of money, she was also unable, she had retired, she had a really good retirement, but she was unable to really envision what she really wanted for her own life while she was in this role. And because this role represented many powerful beliefs, and they were things like, that she didn't deserve to have all the money she had because other people had a little bit less, or that she wasn't being generous if she wasn't, that, generous meant she should be always giving it away and not using it on herself. There were many, many beliefs. And while she was living in these stories, she could not envision what she wanted to give herself for the rest of her life. And so the moment she stopped, the moment she understood that she was actually disempowering these loved ones with this behavior, they were happy
and not choosing whatever she wanted to do with her own life as well, right?
Right. If she was inhibited, she was unable to really see or feel what she wanted to do with her own life while she was pouring all the money towards people who didn't really need it, And so the moment
ela conta que essa cliente até se aposentou super bem, com uma condição financeira bacana, mas que ela tinha tanto essa coisa de ter que dar o dinheiro dela para todo mundo, com muitas crenças, ela diz muitas crenças estão por trás disso. de que se ela não desse esse dinheiro, ela não ia estar sendo generosa o suficiente. E, então, ao passo que ela ficava ocupada com a vida de pessoas, dando dinheiro dela para pessoas que não precisavam desse dinheiro, ela também não tomava contato com o que ela queria, porque uma vez que eu estou ocupada em salvar, em cuidar, ou em ser generosa, em não ser egoísta, uma série de crenças e cobranças aí, com o outro, o que ela mesma queria fazer para a vida dela, não sobrava espaço nem para ela perceber, né? Além de não sobrar dinheiro, porque ela gastou tudo com os outros.
Yeah, so the moment that she stopped, the moment that she suggested that perhaps they would like to, pay their way, first two things happened. One, they were happy to. They had no problem whatsoever paying for themselves as soon as she suggested it and stopped paying for them. And the second thing that happened...
That's not exactly a pattern situation, right? Because...
What's that?
You give your money to people that really don't need it, and they're happy to stop that sometimes. In families, what I see mostly is that the people that get the money from somebody who's paying and sustaining the scheme, they do not have good incomings, and you have they need to make some extra effort to start doing it.
So for a situation like that, the idea would be, how can you empower people without money? How can you empower them to solve their own problems, really? How can you empower them to create, different opportunities or possibilities for themselves how can you empower them and love them without it being about money, without giving all, without it being money?
Eu perguntei para a Michele, porque ela disse que então essa pessoa, numa situação, quando essa pessoa que a gente estava falando para de fazer isso, de dar o dinheiro para as pessoas e tal, ela orientou essa pessoa a fazer isso, ela fez, e na verdade a família ficou feliz de poder pagar suas contas, se sentir meio que autônomo, independente por si mesmo. E isso foi uma coisa legal. Mas, agora, em geral, a situação, quando um sustenta outros, não dá essa felicidade toda, não. Quando o que está sustentando para, a gente pode ver famílias ou núcleos onde tem um problema. Aquele que está sendo sustentado, se ele para, a casa cai, as pessoas não gostam. Aí ela diz, bom, nesse caso, então, você pode pensar como é que você pode habilitar as pessoas, energizar as pessoas, ou empower, né, apoderar as pessoas sem ser através do dinheiro. Motivá-las a dar conta dos seus próprios problemas, a resolver suas coisas, a serem criativas ou até mesmo a serem amadas, você poder amá-las sem ser resolvendo a vida delas, né? Sem ser através de resolver para elas aquilo que elas podem fazer por si mesmas. Então, é uma coisa um pouco de autonomia. A little bit like autonomy, right?
What's that?
A little bit about their autonomy, like they do for themselves what they can.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I see that's super common is I see a lot of female entrepreneurs in particular who have difficulty with visibility. So it's like they're very talented and they're very brilliant and they're inspired, they're hardworking, they're passionate, and they're skilled, but they're not allowing themselves to be fully visible in their potential, and so that inhibits their ability to make money. So,
ela fala também que uma coisa que ela vê que acontece, e acontece mais com mulheres na experiência internacional dela, é a questão da visibilidade. Muitas mulheres se inibem de aparecer bem-sucedidas e de se mostrar nessa posição. Isso acaba inibindo a própria capacidade de ganhar dinheiro.
Yeah. And, so everybody has, everybody has a unique money personality. So there are certain patterns of characteristics that seem to go together for people. So,
Todo mundo tem uma personalidade de dinheiro. Então, tem certos pares de características na gente que falam da nossa personalidade financeira.
Yeah.
Financial personality. Quantum assessment will help for us to take a look at personalities. And you're going to make the reading of each of them.
Well, the thing is that, there are certain patterns that are there are 8 patterns that are really common. And so, some people, of course, spend too much and they spend to fill a void, right? And so there's something missing and they're using money to fill that. Other people actually don't spend enough. They're
To do what? To fill a void?
To fill a void, to fill a hole within.
What is the word again?
to fill a void, V-O-I-D, void, meaning like an
V-O-I-D?
Yeah. So it's
what
like
does it mean?
It means
A void, not empty?
They're spending money because they feel empty.
Ok.
So instead
ela está
of
falando que tem 8 tipos mais comuns, né, de personalidade financeira, e um deles é um tipo que gasta dinheiro para não sentir-se vazio.
So instead of creating a spirit-feeding relationships or activities in life, that type of person will, when they're not feeling so good emotionally or whatever, will spend. And right, that's one type. There's another type that actually does not spend enough. That's the type that's accumulating, that's holding on tightly. And we see that how we do money is how we do other things in life. So if you're holding tightly to money, maybe you're a great saver. Maybe you're great at knowing the details of your finances, and you've been a great saver your whole life, so you have money because you've saved everything. But if you're not willing to invest in your business or your life, it's going to stay very small.
Então ela termina falando que o primeiro tipo, quando se sente vazio ou está infeliz, ao invés de desenvolver relacionamentos significativos ou atividades que sustentem ou preencham a satisfação da pessoa, a pessoa vai gastar dinheiro, vai tentar através de gastar dinheiro. O segundo tipo, ao contrário, segura o dinheiro, são os acumuladores, são pessoas que não gastam, e que talvez eles sejam muito bons de fazer planejamento, de detalhes, de ter um controle bem específico da sua vida financeira, do seu orçamento, de vida fora, e eles têm dinheiro, eles guardam, né, não gastam, eles têm dinheiro, mas tem esse elemento de não desenvolver seu negócio, não desenvolver sua carreira, não desenvolver sua vida, porque fica segurando, e isso faz com que a vida também não se desenvolva.
Yeah. So, what I see is that if somebody is holding tight to money, for example, usually they're also holding tight to other things in life, such as affection.
É importante, ela falou antes, agora ela continuou. You said before and you continued now, and I lost that one, about what you do money and do other things the same way. Então ela tinha dito que como você lida com dinheiro, você provavelmente lida com muitas outras coisas na vida. Ela diz agora, se você costuma segurar dinheiro, você também costuma segurar afeto, né? Porque o dinheiro é um padrão de como a gente lida com as coisas.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So it's very interesting in that way. And so sometimes a person who has difficulty spending on themselves has difficulty being generous with other people, generous with money, generous with their spirit, generous with their time, all kinds of things. We see patterns like this. So
a gente reconhece alguns padrões, né? A pessoa que tem dificuldade de gastar dinheiro consigo mesma, ela pode ter dificuldade de ser generosa com outras pessoas. Ela pode ter dificuldade de ser generosa com as suas próprias necessidades também. Então, a gente vê padrões que vão no paralelo. Vou perguntar para ela essa coisa de se eu não dou para mim mesma alguma coisa, então eu também não sou generosa com o outro. Porque tem gente que fala, eu não dou para mim, mas para os outros eu dou, né? So, I told them in Portuguese, I was going to ask you, in general, we might think that if I'm not able to buy myself something, then I'm kind of not, being generous to myself. But I thought it was interesting what you said. If I don't buy me things, I might not be generous to other people either, because there are patterns. We generally would think that one doesn't give themselves something, so because they take care of everybody else and they give other people things, but they don't give to themselves.
And that's another type. That's another
type. But that type you said is interesting, because there are people that don't give to themselves and they are kind of selfish or not willing to be generous to other people, right, as they are not to themselves.
Right. That's one type, and the other type you just described is another type, and they're both very distinct types.
Oh, good. Então, olha, gente, a gente não vai contar tudo não, mas tem um movimento, um padrão, um tipo, que a pessoa não dá para si e também não dá para os outros. O que ela faz consigo, ela faz com você também. Ela não se dá o que ela precisa, não é generosa consigo e também faz assim com os outros. E tem outro tipo que não dá para si, mas dá para todo mundo. Esse é
And then
outro.
and then there's a type that is very comfortable with luxury and loves luxury and really stretches the paradigm on luxury for other people. So, they're like yes people. So yes, go to the expensive restaurant, get the massage, buy the expensive clothing. So that type will give very generously to that. They love beautiful things. They like beautiful appearances. And they just truly love luxury. It's just who they are. And so they help other people to give more generously to themselves as well, and to say yes to themselves. That's a particular type. That type is prone to overspending and being and tying their value to appearances also.
Tem ainda outro tipo que ela exemplifica de gente que gosta de luxo. E luxo e prazer, eles costumam ser generosos com eles mesmos e generosos com os outros. Se vestir bem, ir a bons restaurantes e também ensinar as pessoas a gostarem disso é uma coisa assim que soa próspera, soa de abundância, né? Então, realmente eles apreciam isso, que esse tipo pode ter o problemito de acabar gastando demais, né? And overspending is the only problem with that type.
It's a problem.
E também associar, pode acabar associando sua satisfação a aparências, né? E se isso se perde aí, pode virar um problema.
And then there's a type that is very humanitarian, and so every type has gifts and strengths, and every type has blind spots and challenges, And so everything, exists on the spectrum, right? So and depending on who you are and how conscious you are, how much growth work you've done, you're going to fall someplace on the spectrum, from the way over here to way over there, or maybe in the middle, and maybe at different times in your life.
O que ela diz vai ter um espectro, né? E a gente vai trabalhar em algum lugar do espectro entre estar na ponta de cá, de gastar pouco, ou de lidar com você e com o outro, e estar na ponta de lá. Em algum lugar você encontra onde você está, e especificamente no seu mapa pessoal de resiliência, o que você deve fazer para desenvolver e encontrar teus nós, né? In your personal resiliency map, we will help them, you will help us to identify specifically where we are in the spectrum and what we can do to develop ourselves, where our blind spots are.
Yeah, well, exactly. And, I hope that get to work with, small enough group where that we can really talk about individual experiences and that sort of thing. And because what I've learned, that what really matters, it's not like there's a good type and a bad type, or a better type and a worse type. What really matters is that once you understand your psychology of money, your own type, then you can choose to play to your strengths. You can choose to learn the lessons from your challenges, and prosperity tends to come when we're really being ourselves, right? So when we're playing to our strengths. So, and there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that.
Ela disse que espera que a gente tenha a possibilidade de trabalhar com pequenos grupos, e a gente terá, porque as palestras, olha, eu acho que eu consegui abrir o chat para vocês, mas não aparece, só aparece eu falando hoje, não sei como é fazer isso. I'm still having a bad time reaching the PPs, I'm still having...
What's that?
I was just trying to open the questions for them because I don't read them speaking.
Oh, good. That would be great. That would be wonderful.
We're going to learn this. I'm so sorry because of my startup in that I use so many other apps. But let me translate about this. Yeah, we're going to have the short groups. First presentation, 40 minutes. Then you have 50 minutes with many small groups you can go through. And we Resiliators will help you with the exercises you teach us. We can support you doing that. Então, ela diz que quer ter, durante o Resiliency Summit, no 9, 10 e 11 de novembro, aqui em São Paulo, em Moema, na Casa Petra, grupos menores, de forma que ela faz a palestra inicial e depois ela tem 50 minutos para você fazer o seu mapa pessoal de resiliência de dinheiro e a gente acompanhar ela e a equipe de mentores e mestres que estão ali para te acompanhar em o grupo, para você descobrir e sair com um plano de lá que vai funcionar. Como isso vai ser em várias áreas da vida, estou trazendo uma das experientes uma das palestrantes, uma das especialistas mais experientes nesse assunto, que ajuda as pessoas de verdade a equilibrarem sua vida de grana e de emoções. So I'm saying that, yeah, we are doing this and that we're working together, and that's why we are bringing one of the most experienced experienced specialists to help us do that during the summit with you, Michele, which is quite an honor for us.
It's an honor for me, yeah. There's a lot of dimensions and a lot of layers to the money journey, and it's such a big part of our lives because it's a resource that enables us to do so much, And
tem muitas dimensões e muitas camadas quando se fala de dinheiro, e é uma parte tão importante da vida que a gente descobre mais coisas que são legais de a gente fazer, né?
Yeah.
Vou falar um pouco para ela da semana que nós estamos. Ela está sabendo, já mandei meus vídeos também falando inglês. You know that we are in a week before the elections. It's a crazy week. We are exhausted, probably like your past presidential election. That was lots of conflicts and confusion, etc. Yeah. In a very different environment here, but yeah, we are in the last week before elections, and I do hope, Michele, we do another hangout, a little bit more prepared about the electronic thing here, and welcome Wellington. We're going to complete this one and have some questions beforehand we go online, so we can get prepared and talk a little bit online. But you know what? The event is very beautiful. People from all over the country are coming. And some people from abroad are coming as well. It's going to be a beautiful event. And the first Quantum House Resiliency Summit. But the first, because we want to do every year in one different country, a meeting like that to talk about resiliency. And I'd like to ask you, unfortunately, I can't read their questions right now. But I'd like to ask you why resiliency in that sense is important, Michele.
In the sense, the general sense of what's happening in the world now, you mean?
No, in the sense of our meeting. In the sense of the money, the psychology of money.
Yeah. So yeah, well, because we live in a world where, money is the exchange, right? And so healing our relationship to money, and because it is so tied to our personal sense of worth, right? Our sense of personal value. And, ultimately our relationship with ourself is everything, really. So when we heal our relationship and empower our relationship to money, it usually transforms our relationship to our self-worth, to our self-connection, to our experience of our own value and what's possible for ourselves to express and create and experience in our businesses and our lives. You really can't, no matter how gifted you are, no matter how talented, no matter how motivated, if you don't have an empowered relationship to money, you can't do a lot in this world, It's just when you have when we see all these like very successful visionaries that have lots and lots of money, their money is a reflection of how many lives they're touching. Mm-hmm. So they're comfortable receiving money, and they're also impacting many, many people. They go together.
Yeah, how important it is to be free and to go and come back and to be able to touch people's lives and to have a meaningful life. Healing your relation with money for a meaningful life is just something I fully agree with you. A Michele diz que, eu pergunto por que a resiliência é importante nisso, para terminar, e ela diz que curar nosso relacionamento com o dinheiro é muito significativo, e é significativo nos nossos relacionamentos. Ela exemplifica alguém que é muito rico e ou que tem uma vida próspera, que consegue fazer um bom dinheiro, e a vida de quantas pessoas a gente consegue tocar por causa disso, né?
So, you know, I meet people that, I'm a very spiritual person, and so I meet a lot of other spiritual people, and what I see in, you know, among, you know, spirit-driven, spirit-led people is that sometimes there's this belief, there's this attitude that money shouldn't matter. You know, if you're spiritual, money shouldn't matter, right? Why does money matter? And when we think of money, you know, like any other relationship, you know, if you said to anyone else in your life that you don't matter, I don't know why you matter, would they stay with you? Would they be attracted to you? Would they be right?
Wow, what a metaphor!
No, yeah.
Que a Michele está dizendo que ela é uma pessoa muito espiritual, né? E quando a gente tem valores humanos, espirituais elevados, a gente tem essa tendência de dizer, não, dinheiro não importa, porque outras coisas é que importam. Então ela diz, imagina que você tem uma pessoa na sua vida, e se você disser para essa pessoa, não, você não importa, o que importa são outras coisas, você não importa, essa pessoa vai continuar com você. Pescou? Aí, se essa pessoa se chama money, se essa pessoa se chama dinheiro, e você fala, não, isso não é importante, ele vai embora, né? If this person is called money, they go away.
Yeah. I mean, and so you know, I don't know anybody. I know people that say that, and I don't know anybody with that attitude that has any money. They have no money. Right? People, right? When it doesn't matter.
Nada, me, baby. Right, you are. Eu não conheço ninguém com essa atitude, não, que dinheiro não é importante. Importante é o espírito, importante é não sei o que lá que tenha dinheiro, porque eles não têm dinheiro nenhum.
Yeah.
True story. Eu também não.
So money loves it when we pay attention to it. It loves it when we pay attention to the details. You know, it likes clarity. O dinheiro adora quando a gente presta atenção nele, quando a gente presta atenção nos detalhes, quando a gente deseja. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. So, I think for our first meeting was just nice. I mean, we really got a challenge here to make it better next time, and we will, because we need to be on time, we need to be connected. We're going to test this in the right computer before and have the questions online. So I'm going to open another moment. We'll set the schedule, and when we post it, we have some of their questions before, so we can, you know, chat a little bit before you're coming. The event itself also has the planning of some good experiential things that we're going to do together, so that we have not only a resiliency map, but energy from inside out and from outside in, because we can help each other, you know. And so, such a pleasure. Eu estou dizendo para a Michele que nós vamos fazer mais uma agenda e nós vamos postar antes, vocês vão poder mandar algumas perguntas. Também a gente vai acertar a mão aqui desse computador, do escritório, para poder receber as perguntas de vocês aqui online, que o objetivo é justamente fazer online para poder ter essa interação, e que não funcionou, mas que a gente vai fazer isso. Que o Resiliency Summit tem algumas experiências práticas que são muito legais, que envolvem experience mesmo, né, dessa interação como um todo, que eu não vejo a hora de se rolar, porque no sentido de ter um mapa pessoal, num princípio organizador de abundância, nós podemos e nós merecemos melhorar as coisas, porque a vida é passageira. We can and we deserve to improve things, because we are passengers in this life.
Yeah.
Make the best out of it.
Yeah.
So tell me about yourself, Michele, first, to finish for now and make another appointment with them. You were talking from New York City?
No, no. Upstate New York. I'm 6 hours from New York City.
Already 6 hours. I thought it was closer.
I'm 6.5 hours from New York City. And yeah, so I'm about 350 miles from New York City. And so it's cold here. Yeah. And yeah, so you want me to tell you about myself, just tell you about my background, and is that what you're asking me? What?
us to know where you're coming from or anything you want to say.
Yeah.
Where are you bringing from New York area, let's say? Ela está a 6 horas de Nova York, ao norte de Nova York. O que vocês querem que ela traga, gente? Agora não tem como vocês me contam isso, né? Graças a Deus, Jesus toma conta. Modos horríveis. Yeah, well, we want you to bring us. I'm asking them, but they can't enter, so it's a good way of asking for you to bring presents.
What's that?
I asked them. She's coming from up New York, a little bit, so the region of New York. And so, what do you guys want her to bring from New York? And as they cannot answer because I can't read them, it's easy for you to bring. So. Hey, people, forgive me, all right? It's gonna be different next time, I promise. We're gonna do it better. So, you coming from New York, we have a little bit of time difference, and you are starting winter over there right now, right?
What's that?
You'll be starting winter.
We're in fall now. We're in autumn now, and well, winter can start anytime. You know, now it's very cold right now, but we don't have any snow right now. We still have all the beautiful colors on the trees, and it's my favorite time of year. You know, so
New York, especially a little bit more to New York. Eles estão no outono, o inverno pode chegar a qualquer momento. And your message for now, darling.
Yeah. So, you know, I can't wait to be there, and I really can't wait to meet people and, you know, provide whatever support I can. Anything having to do with resilience. My resilience has been a super big, deep theme in my own life. And that's what led me to the work of AI Siebert to begin with, was my personal journey, and recognizing that he had come up with a framework that gave language and structure and all of that to the life that I had led from the time I was very young, and, you know, didn't always understand what it was until I bumped into his work in 2007, 2008. So, you know, I felt really blessed. I was the last person that he personally gave his blessings to get certified in his work and, you know, develop expertise in his work before he passed. And it's so, you know, as a coach and, you know, speaker, coach, resilience is woven into, you know, every moment, like every single thing I do with every single client, really every moment of my own life. The way that the glasses, I only wear glasses for the computer, but but the glasses, the inner glasses I'm wearing, the prescription I'm wearing is always working with resilience principles, always attempting to live my own life more resiliently. And I love helping others understand how they can do this, because none of us are victims, no matter what has happened, no matter what is happening. Really everything that we need and want already exists within us. And so it's really more a matter of removing what is in the way of the resilience that is innate, that is natural, that is already there. Rather than,
I had to translate all this.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'll begin to be, by the end of this, we are not really victims, because this is a good one. Então, ela diz que, de verdade, a carreira dela, a vida dela, teve muito a ver com tudo isso que ela se envolveu em fazer como coach. Ela conheceu o AI Siebert, que foi o diretor do AI Siebert Resiliency Center, que fez o prefácio do meu livro, me ajudou a fazer método Quantum. 2 anos antes da morte dele, ela foi a última pessoa que ele certificou. Eu não sei se vocês sabem, mas ele, 2 meses antes de morrer, certificou 12 de nós no mundo as resiliators. I'm telling about all the story of 2 months before dying, sending certificates to 12 of us around the world, and then passing away. Dr. Siebert.
Oh, I know exactly. That's.
It was like, what? We got the message. Então, ela diz que a resiliência está em tudo, assim, que ela só usa óculos para o computador, mas que tem uma lente interna que ela usa para procurar resiliência, porque de verdade nós não somos vítimas. É quase como se a gente tivesse que remover umas coisas do caminho, porque os recursos que a gente precisa para ser vitorioso e não vítima, a gente tem. Mas a forma de fazer isso, ela encontrou no trabalho do Dr. AI Siebert os nomes, o formato, a verdadeira estrutura de alguma coisa que a gente sabe que funciona, mas vocês sabem como é, né, gente? Dar nome às coisas é cura, né? Conhecimento é cura, e realmente esse trabalho da resiliência do UOL, todo esse trabalho, é super importante. Até agora.
Yeah. So I guess the ultimate message is really that anything can change, whatever the obstacle is, whatever the confusion is, whatever things can shift, and they can shift quickly sometimes, so.
So cute. Ela diz, a mensagem final que é importante é que qualquer coisa pode mudar. As coisas podem mudar, né? As coisas podem se transformar, e às vezes elas podem se transformar rapidamente.
Yeah.
That was very good. And you have the most beautiful blue eyes on earth.
Oh, thank you.
Siebert had. I'm a chocolate. I'm having my little chocolate. All right, honey. Michele, bye now. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Can't wait to meet us all, and we're going to dance a bit together, make some music, and have science and capacitation and great level encounters with very good people to get prepared, but to feel good in the now as well. Because this promise of tomorrow sometimes robs us the life. So each day at a time, and let's work together for better. Step light and look forward. I hope so. Thank you very much. You have a good trip. My friends, I do hope to have your questions, and we're going to fix this better next time. Thank you very much for your time and attention, everybody. Eu me despeço, agradeço muito que ela faça uma viagem segura. E a próxima vez a gente ajeita aqui essa coisa das perguntas. Aqui a gente vai se encontrar no Resiliency Summit, de 8 a 11 de novembro. Vamos fazer um pouco de música. No 8 à noite tem um coquetel, e tem dança, tem autógrafo de livros, né? Do AI Siebert e o meu. E toda essa capacitação, essa certificação, essas coisas. Lembrando que a gente tem que se preparar, se capacitar, usar a ciência, mas está bem no agora, né? Porque essa coisa da promessa do amanhã, é bom a gente pisar leve, olhar para frente, ter perspectiva, mas também se colocar no estado de poder e de recurso, porque a vida vale a pena sim. Essa é a minha mensagem. We also have the launching of AI Siebert book in Portuguese, together with my book in English. So it's a cultural event as well, whereby you guys are going to sign AI Siebert's books together with me for them, if he allows us to make a little note for the public with the new book in Portuguese.
So great. Yeah, it's such.
What am I doing? I'm absolutely crazy. How come do it? All this and the book and everything, but that's it.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I've been there in other situations. I know. I've totally been there in the past. Yeah.
So thank you very much, dear. It was such a pleasure. I'm going to schedule another one. And thank you very much for your time, your generosity to be with us sharing this, and your generosity for dealing with my team and us doing this for the first time this way. We'll be better next time. This is resilience, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So really, all that matters is the learning. Just the.
Okay, well, you have to sleep and we'll be in touch and talk to you soon again.
Yeah, okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Obrigada.
everybody.
Obrigada.
I'm not sure I know how to say that.
Means thank you. Obrigada.
How is it spelled?
Obrigada.
Obrigada.
That's it. Obrigada.
Obrigada.
For girls, if it was a man saying, he would say obrigado. Obrigada, obrigado.
Okay.
Muito obrigada, gente minha. Muito obrigada. Thank you very much. Michele, big kiss, sweetie.
Thank you. Same to you.
Tchau,
Bye.
pessoal.